Hello, my dears. My name is Joanna, and I welcome you to Johanna Draconis, the Deconstruction of C-PTSD podcast. In this episode, we will talk about a question I see many ask themselves. Why didn't I see it earlier? And having a very hard time to come to terms with it and forgiving themselves. So let us talk about it. We talked about denial before, in episode 37, where we talked about being in denial about what happened. This is the next step, so to speak, where we talk about the fallout of that when you try to understand why you didn't see it earlier. Some discover their PTSD not until their 70s and look back and see how everything suddenly makes sense. Well, most things. Especially the things you have been wondering and never understood have now finally an explanation. That is something extremely rough to go through. The earlier this happens to you, the better, for many reasons. But now the rose-tinted glasses are off, and you are faced with an often grim reality. Often others have pointed it out, but you couldn't see it. Now it can be extremely hard to explain how you couldn't. How could you be so blind? To give a short answer, you did not see it because your brain didn't want you to see it. And likely because you didn't want to see it. Why would you? It often means losing something that is very dear to us. We protect what we hold dear even if it means harming ourselves. We protect them as much as we do the image we have in our head about them. First, we talk about the why, and then the what now. The why is usually mostly explained with cognitive dissonance, which means the brain gets information that contradicts the knowledge established and therefore rejects it. One of the reasons it is harder to unlearn and relearn instead of just learning something. But that is not the whole story often. In my experience and what I learned is that the far bigger factor was that I refused to accept things to be true and rather remove myself than to let this be the reality. Rather go away in a dream than stay in this new reality. The more you love a person and are loyal to them, the harder to almost impossible it becomes to see the reality of it all. We protect what we love even from ourselves, and we try to keep this illusion alive as long as we can. It is just so painful. Of course, the same reason like the cognitive dissonance comes into play, that the brain doesn't want to change things, and change has the potential to kill us. At least for the instincts in our brain. So our brain really likes to keep up the status quo. A new environment is just too dangerous and too high of a risk. Same goes for the group. Like I mentioned recently, while we can now survive on our own, our brain won't deviate, if avoidable, to prevent losing the group and therefore being doomed. We can put others above us and work together as a team. But the downside is that these valued group members also become kind of a blind spot. You cannot be betrayed by your enemy, only those you trust. But what now? What can we do? If there was a way to avoid betrayal and having this blind spot, then it wouldn't be one of the most feared things. We have to keep in mind that we didn't know back then what we know now. We grow every day, some more and some less. We can now do with ease tasks that were mountains once, and things that were unbeatable mountains are now just memories of the past. I would recommend you first just breathe. Most likely a lot was revealed and turned upside down. Try to slow things down as much as you can and just breathe. It is not wise to try to take all of it in at once. That just overwhelms and knocks you out. Slowing things down makes sure you go at a pace you can actually keep over quite a bit of time. It is also important to remember that likely you would have acted on it if you could have. be it either that you deemed it back then too dangerous or whatever the reason. You made that choice for a reason. In retrospect, everything seems obvious, but we never know what would have happened if we had taken the other path. In the end, the ship has sailed, and most likely also sunk. Watching the horizon won't bring it back and let you take it. Not that this will make you stop trying. That is a different process with its own many problems. Letting go is hard. For future references, the brain drops hints if there is something not right, and it is often wise not to dismiss it. Not always a trauma, but usually always with the potential of being harmful to you. You might not be able to react in that very moment, but it is wise to remember what it was and then look into it once you have the time. This way you can often prevent things getting worse or prepare for it. Either way, take it one step at a time at your own pace, as usual. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Hope you are safe and well. And, as always, if you have any questions or feedback and the like, please let me know at contactme@johannatakunis.com. More information and transcript you can find, as usually, under johannatakunis.com/podcast/ and links are in the description. Hope to see you next time. Watch yourself and have a wonderful time.